Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Bootcamp. Coach Jazzy here, and we're gonna be doing a total body workout here today. So we don't need any equipment, just enough space to kind of go a little bit forward to the side and then backwards, and then enough space on our hands and toes. But we're gonna do 3 rounds today, 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest slash transition time. I'm going to go ahead real quick with demos and then we'll hop right in. So first movement, we're going to start off on the ground. We're going to do some push-ups. But for this one, we're going to add a pause in there. So you can do a full eccentric push-up or you can be hands and knees, hands and toes, whatever feels good. But we're going to go ahead and come down here. So as we're lowering, we're going to pause halfway through for 1 second and then finish. So like I said, you can do that full eccentric one. Oh gosh, both my elbows just cracked really loud. Or you can go ahead, pause, come down and back up. So that is movement number one. And then after that, we are going to stay on the ground. We're going to do a plank to pike here. So just kind of pushing our hips up and back down. You can spice it up, adding a toe tap. That's going to be the second movement. And then we're going to go ahead and stand on up. We're going to move on to our lower body. And actually today what we're going to do is a staggered squat. I'm going to move the camera a little bit. But we're going to do all on one leg, and then we're going to switch to the other leg. So for this one, having all of our weight in one of our feet, coming up on our other toe, we're coming down and pushing through just the one leg. So we're focusing on one leg at a time here. So coming down, just pushing through the right leg first. And then after that, on the next 50 seconds, we'll do the other leg. So then same thing, our toe is lined up in with our heel or our arch, whatever placement feels good. And then squatting down, pushing through again, just one leg at a time. So that is that. And then we're going to go ahead and get into more of our cardio. So first thing we're going to start off with is a triple switch, but we're just going to pause here. So we're not going to do the single leg RDL. We're just going to do the triple switch, and then we're going to pause holding our leg there. So we're here, opposite arm, opposite leg, 1, 2, 3, and then we're pausing here. So keeping our core engaged. We're going to feel that in our hip flexor a little bit as well, but 3 switches and pausing. So that is our first cardio, more, I would say, cardio and balance stability kind of movement. And then after that, we are going to do skips, or if that's not available to you today, go ahead and do a march instead. So for that, our march is going to look like this if you're marching. And if you're skipping, you're double tapping at the bottom, but on opposite arm, opposite leg. So pretty similar to the triple switch, but different, of course. So that is our whole circuit for today. So we're going to go ahead and do our warm up really quickly. So from here, we're going to go ahead and interlace our fingers, grab onto one of our knees, pulling towards our chest. And we're going to exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. I don't know if you can see me there. Back leg staying nice and straight. We're going to do a nice big deep inhale. And we're going to exhale, rotating, opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our thumb. Sorry, past our hand, thumb is facing behind us, getting that rotation through our upper body. And we're going to exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot, bringing our back foot a little bit closer, pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. Perfect. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So interlacing our fingers, grabbing onto our other knee, pulling towards our chest. And we're going to exhale, stepping back into our reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. And we're going to exhale, opening up towards the ceiling. Looking past our hand, thumb is facing behind us. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, planting our hand outside of our front foot. Bringing our back foot a little bit closer, pushing our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, bringing our feet together, push the ground away and standing on up. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead, do a little bit of plank to pike next. Getting ready for our push-ups and stuff. So coming down onto our hands and toes. We're gonna go ahead, exhale, pushing our hips up into that down dog or pike position here. And we're gonna go ahead and pedal our heels a little bit, opening up our calves here as we get ready for our squats. So kind of holding each heel down for about 1 breath and then switching to the other side. And then let's go ahead, push both our heels into the ground, poke our head in between our arms. And we're gonna go ahead and come back down to our plank. We're gonna do 3 quick ones here, coming up and down. 2 more coming up and down. And last one coming up. And then we can go ahead, come back to our plank, gently bring your knees to the ground, and we're ready to rock and roll. So we are starting off on the ground. We are doing push-ups with a pause about halfway down. So you can do an eccentric or a regular push-up. I'm gonna go ahead, get the timer started here in 3, 2, 1, and go. 2, here, doing a push-up. I'm definitely going for my knees right now. But we're coming down into our push-up, pausing halfway. And then, like I said, you can either, if you want to pause, like as you're doing the eccentric push-up, you can do it that way. Or you can just pause halfway through on a regular push-up, holding anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds. Really, whatever feels good, whatever's more challenging today for you. Just actually for a second. And we really want to make sure our hands are staying underneath our shoulders, but our elbows are staying nice and tight. The bottom of our push-up, our hands are right at our ribs. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have plank to pike, and you can either do a toe tap or you can do a pike push-up, whatever feels good. 3, 2, 1. You can even do both if you would like. So starting with our plank, coming up. And you can just do one, just do a plank to pike. You can do a plank to pike with a toe tap. You can do a plank, pike, toe tap, and a little pike push-up. Whatever feels good for you today, go ahead and do. Really, whatever, you can even just do a plank to pike push-up. Again, whatever's feeling good today. Now, we already just did push-ups, so I didn't want to do too many dowel push-ups today. But I know I need push-up work always, so it never hurts. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right, next up, we're doing a staggered squat. So we're doing all on one leg. 3, 2, 1. So we're focusing on one leg at a time here. So all of the weight right now is going to be in my right foot. I'm on my right toe. It's in line with either the arch of your foot or your heel. The goal here is wherever our toe is, we're not doing a split squat. So we don't want it behind our hips. So you still want your foot underneath your hip, going as far out as you need to, coming down like a regular squat, and then pushing through your working leg. So on that one, I was just pushing through my left leg, or sorry, my right leg, not my left leg. So just going nice and slow here. It's just like a regular squat, except for we're just using one leg to get up. This leg is just the supporting leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. Same thing, other side. So finding your good foot placement, whatever feels good for you. 3, 2, 1. So everything else is the same. Our core is still engaged. Our chest is still open. Our knee is still coming over our toe. And then, like I said, we're pushing through just one foot, but we're still pushing through the heel, big toe, little toe. So everything else is the same. We're just not pushing through our opposite leg. You can always make it more challenging by slowing it down. Maybe we go down for 3 seconds. For 3 seconds. I know I'm still going a little slower with single leg movements. But whatever feels good. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right, next up, we're doing a triple switch with a pause. So we're not doing our single leg RDL with the triple switches. 3, 2, 1. So we are here. Opposite arm, opposite leg. 1, 2, 3. And we're pausing. So working on our balance and stability, as well as our core and hip flexor strength as we pause here. It is helpful to keep your gaze in one spot because that can help us with the balance. We also want our foot, like our weight is spread out evenly amongst our foot that's on the ground. I know sometimes we get off balance if maybe our weight is all the way on the outside or the inside part of our foot. So try and distributing our weight evenly. You also might notice one side you're a little bit more stable than the other. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last but not least, we're gonna do skips. You can also march if that feels better. 3, 2, 1. Or if you are, am I doing that right? That's not correct. March, okay. I don't know, I felt like I was not skipping. So I want to make sure we're getting our knee up as high as we can as we're skipping. We're double tapping at the bottom. You don't have to get super high off the ground, but we do want to be nice and tall here. You could also switch it up if you would like. If you have the space, you can go forward in your skip, or you can do a lateral skip. Whatever feels good, whatever you have space for. You can always do a different one each round. 3, 2, 1. All right, 1 round down, 2 to go. Starting with our push-ups with our pause. 3, 2, 1. So making sure with our push-up, again, our arms are starting here out in front of us. So even a little bit lower than our shoulders. We come down, our hands end here, right at the bottom of the rib cage. And then we push through, coming back up. It's this motion here that activates our chest. So even just doing this without actually pushing up against anything, you should hopefully feel a little bit of that chest muscle activating. We're also going to feel it in our triceps and our shoulders as well. But having our hands narrower is going to help as well. So they don't have to be directly under our shoulders, but also not super far out. Oh, it's too far out. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have plank to pike. You can add a toe tap or a push up if you would like. 3, 2, 1. I think I'm going to add a push up on this round. You can always add as we go. So maybe the first round you did just a regular plank to pike. In this round now you're doing a toe tap, and then you do a push up on the last round, or whatever feels good. Wherever you're at, challenge yourself. If you're feeling good today, push a little extra. Great job. Keep going. We're almost there. Using your core as we come up. 3, 2, 1. All right. Great job. That felt like a long 50 seconds. Okay. Staggered squats are next. 3, 2, 1. So putting all of our weight in one leg. Again, either the heel or the arch. I like mine to be under my arch, but whatever feels good. Coming down and up. So once again, slowing it down. That feels good. Hip is feeling tight for some reason. As you notice, everything is the same as our 2-leg squat, but I'm not pushing. This is just a stabilizing leg. instead of doing like straight up single leg squats. 3, 2, 1. Everything is cracking for me today. Okay. Same thing, other side, and then we have triple switches. 3, 2, 1. Okay. This is where you might notice too that maybe one side is tighter than the other side. One side maybe feels better, is a little stronger. Always good to make those notes. And that's also why I like to do at least one single leg movement every class, whether it's lunges or we haven't done staggered squats in a while, or even, you know, our single leg RDLs. It can help us create that balance within our muscular system. Pushing through our whole foot, heel, big toe, little toe. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right, next up we have triple switches. I gotta grab that block for a second. 3, 2, 1. So we're doing a triple switch. So we have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, trying to get our knees up as high as we can. I'm definitely better with my balance here at home because I don't have shoes on. So I think that's just, again, one of my reminders, right? That if you're, even with squats, lunges, literally any lower body movement where we are wearing running shoes, they have that arch in there, right? They're not completely stable on the ground. And how our foot connects with the ground is going to determine how the rest of our body moves and how our muscles activate. I always recommend 3, 2, 1. Perfect. But that's why I always recommend flat shoes for lower body movements. All right, we are going to skip 3, 2, 1. Like I said, you can skip in place. You can march. We really want to get our knee up as high as we can each time. So the faster we go, the higher our heart rate's going to go. So I want to make sure that we are doing opposite arm, opposite leg. It's like we're hammering our arms down behind us. So it's not just our legs, it's our arms as well. And if we are marching, same thing. It's like we're punching the ground, punch, 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 punch. But also core is activated. So coming down and together going to help our core strength. 3, 2, 1. I don't know why I keep moving closer to the camera. Perfect. All right, last round coming up. Push-ups. 3, 2, 1. Last round, best round. Making sure we're doing everything step by step here. So screwing our hands into the ground. Looking up. I know I have such a bad tendency personally to tuck my chin and look at my hands, but what that does is as we look forward, our shoulders will come up, and that's not where we want our upper bodies to be. We want everything to be straight here. So that way our shoulder blades are down. We're using our chest and shoulders and not our traps. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. All right, next up, plank to pike. Again, you can do a toe tap or a push up with it as well. 3, 2, 1. You also, if you would like, you can add a push up instead of the plank part, or with the plank part or the pike part, whatever. Whatever feels good. Okay, I'm just gonna do a plank to pike on this one. Focus on my core. I find that if I tend to do too many other things, or if I do it too quickly, I won't use my core well enough, but I'm feeling my core activated on this one. Exhaling as we push up. Making sure in our plank, our hips are not dipping below our shoulders. 3, 2, 1, and we are done with our upper body today. We're standing on up. Staggered squats. 3, 2, 1. Last lower body movement here. Again, you can always make it harder by slowing it down. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm so thirsty while teaching. Making sure, again, heel bake to little toe. It's about how your foot comes in contact with the ground. So evenly distributing our weight across our entire foot. And on this one, especially if you go up slower, it's going to help you focus on that single leg. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So we're done with that leg. Moving to our other leg. 3, 2, 1. All right. Yeah, same thing. And slowing it down, especially on the way up, can really help us. Using just one foot. And again, if you need to take those shoes off, if it really helps, well, it should help. You probably will feel a difference. I know I can usually see a difference if I see someone's like coming up on your toe wearing tennis shoes. Take your shoe off, you're gonna feel your heel activate more. You're gonna feel it more in your glutes versus your knee. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. All right, we got skips. Oh, sorry, triple switches and then skips. And then we are done for today. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got 1, 2. On this one, as we're switching, it's toe, toe, and then our whole foot. So also making sure too, our knees are not completely straight. We don't want our knees to fully come down. We want to keep that slight bend in our knees as we're switching and even as we land. So if you notice, I'm here 1, 2, 3. I'm still slightly bent here versus being fully straight. So it's just like regular landing mechanics, super helpful for things like running or even walking, that we don't fully want to extend or hyperextend our knee. Really important there. 3, 2, 1. Right, last movement, skips or marches. You can also do forward or lateral. 3, 2, 1. All right, do a couple marches here. Keeping our core engaged. If you start to really feel your core after the marches, then go ahead and start those skips if you would like. Sometimes, like I said, I know I need to kind of break things down for myself before going back forward so I can make sure that all of my muscles are activated. I got my mind to muscle connections good. And then I can kind of start doing all the things together. So just that reminder, sometimes we need to break it down before we can advance forward, and that is okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, and that is going to be it for today's circuit. So go ahead and grab a sip of water if you need it. We're gonna go ahead and be on the ground. We're gonna do some child's pose. Really been loving doing this one after class because 1, laying on my back is not really happening right now, but 2, it really helps us really open up our hips and our low back as well as our upper body. And it also really, I feel like we can focus more on also our nervous system and calming our bodies down versus just stretching. So from our hands and knees when we're ready, take your knees a little bit wider than hip width. sinking your hips back, forehead, chin, or cheek to the ground. And if you really want to get that nice upper body stretch, you can even walk your hands out further away. You can start to open up our back. We really want to picture one, we want to feel our armpits sinking into the ground as we exhale. And number two, our hips are relaxing, picturing all the muscles around your hip joint relaxing, releasing the stress, letting your hips sink further to the ground while we make our exhales longer than our inhales. And let's go ahead and do one more breath here. And now as we finish our exhale, when you're ready, we can go ahead and gently bring a little bit more pressure into our hands, returning back to our hands and our knees. And feel free to stay on the ground, or you can return to a seated kneeling or standing position. But whoops, is going to be all the time we have for today. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you feel nice and relaxed after that cool down. But I hope you all have a great day, and hopefully I'll see y'all again tomorrow for Exercise with Exos.